Maddy has a 6-point bustle. So we have 3 points on the outer tulle and 3 points on the under chiffon layers here. On the wedding day, right back here at the center of the back train, there's going to be a thread that is attaching these tulle layers to this chiffon and this layer underneath. You can see that I clipped it. So you're actually going to need to clip that when it's time to bustle. I just have this in for now. But on wedding day, there will be a thread tack holding those together. So we're going to clip them, separate these layers, and then we're going to pass this up to Maddy here. She's not in the dress, so we're just gonna stick it over the mannequin. Don't do that on Maddy. All right, so we're gonna come under here, and the first thing that we're gonna notice is there is a ribbon loop. This is not part of the bustle. This is just a hanging strap for when she's not wearing the dress. So ignore that, keep going. Under here, we're gonna have 3 different colors of ribbons. There's purple, there's green, there's ivory, okay? We're gonna tie, there are 2 of each. So we're going to tie ivory to ivory to ivory, green to green, purple to purple. One more thing I'm going to point out is over here, there is a permanent pocket in her linings. This is there for a specific purpose. It's because I have some hidden strings that we pull out to the very outside that you can only pull back in if you have a pocket here. So I will show you those strings in a little bit, but ignore that. So we're going to start by tying these ribbons together. Again, green to green, purple to purple, ivory to ivory. I want to get the bases of each ribbon as close to each other as possible. So I always make sure that I press that other fabric out of the way. We're gonna just go ahead and tie this up into a bow. Wedding day, you can tie it into a knot if you'd like, but a bow will be just fine. These ribbons are very grippy. All right, there's one. We're going to come here to the ivory in the center. There we go. Always press that fabric out of the way. You don't want to get it tied up in it. Then you'd have a weird little thing going on. There we go. And then the last one over here, which is our purple, our plum. We're going to get these ones tied together on the left side. All right. Okay, perfect. That will just bustle down just like it's supposed to. Now we're going to take care of these outer layers. So we're going to start here at the very center next to this zipper. And if you go down about like 8 inches or 6 inches from the top, there are these 2 little ribbon knots on each side of that zipper. We're going to go ahead and pull these out. Remember how I said that there were some hidden strings in between the lining layers? There are 3 sets of these. Now, all of my outer points have backer buttons there for security and strength. So that button hits that fabric and it's not going to rip out. So there's our first ribbon. Now we're gonna come over here about like 5 inches and then down just next to this applique, and just above, there's another set of ribbon knots right there. And then at that same spot on the other side, there is another set right here. It's above this little applique. So we're gonna pull that out. All right. So we have 3 sets of strings. Now we're going to come and pull 3 little ribbon loops. So when we lift up all of the layers here, you're going to come straight down that center seam and you're going to see this little button, again with some ribbon hanging. That is our loop for our center. There's going to be one on the right and one on the left. If you ever feel like you're getting lost, just lift it up and you'll find all of those. Sometimes you'll be able to find them by looking from the top or whatever, but that is how we're going to find that. I'm going to go ahead and start here on the right side. So I grab our right ribbon button there, and I'm going to come here, and what it's going to do is it's going to take us to this flower, and right across the bottom of this flower, that little organza ribbon's peeking out. It might be difficult to see in the video, but you'll feel where it's going to come through with your fingers. So there is our loop, and this is going to get tied up to the strings right above it. So we're going to come right here, take one of those ribbons, put it through the loop, and we are going to tie this all the way up. When we tie these, you want to make sure it's not drooping down, but up as high as that can go. There we go. And again, these ribbons are also pretty grippy, so you don't necessarily have to worry about tying them in knots. So there's that. We'll take care of the bow in a second. So I know where this spot is, so I'm just gonna go and grab it. But again, if you get lost, go underneath. But these ribbons are here, and this little guy is actually gonna be on this applique. You might be able to see those ribbons from there, but it's just gonna come right across right here. There we go. And just like we did before, we're gonna just tie this all the way up here and tie it into a bow, making sure that that's not drooping down. If you ever feel like you're having a hard time keeping it up, you can have a second person hold the weight of these. So something that you can do with these ribbons so that they're not sticking out quite so, messily, is I like to twist those ribbons up really tight and then use my thumb to press them through the loop so that instead of hanging in front, they hang behind. And you can do that with all of those. So now that we have our two sides up, we're gonna come here and do the center. And again, sometimes it is just easier to go through that. There's our center button. And that is just right here across that seam. All right. So this one is a little unique because it is actually, this bustle will be pulled directly over the zipper. So when it's time to get Maddy out of the dress, you're going to need to take this bustle point down. If you have tied this into a knot, you will need to clip it. If you tie it into a bow, you can just very carefully pull that out. But either way, this will need to come down when it's time to get her out of the bustle. So the last thing, well, out of the dress, not the bustle. The last thing that we're gonna do is as Maddy's walking around doing whatever, this bustle will kind of have peaks and points and just be crazy. But we want to make it look nice if you're ever gonna display this in a photo on purpose, like maybe at cake cutting or something like that. So just like when the train is down, you're gonna find that back center, fluff that part out so it kind of triangles, and then you can tuck anything else if there's ribbon sticking out, all of those things. But that is her 6-point bustle.